So I have to ask: are you as paranoid as I am when it comes to the battery on your controller? Where it's like, I'm not playing, plug in, set down.
I personally wait. Yes,
If you would, they hit the mute switches on their headsets. So if you would allow that. It's fixed now, sorry.
it's fixed now.
You can turn the stream on.
Oh my goodness. So wait, how long have we been muted? Oh, okay. And we just been gabbing in here, and no one's been listening to us.
Oh, it's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine.
What do you call it? Missed Bleck's embarrassing story. But apparently now we can be heard, and we're back.
we are back now with Dredgelords and Mom's Cold Spaghetti, who we went into great detail. Why is it cold?
I don't know. Maybe it's just they just got it out of the fridge and they just haven't reheated it yet.
Is it
They're
like that
just-
that cold spaghetti that can like congeals to the shape of its container, and it's
And you're trying to get it out so you can reheat it, but it's like all stuck together. Great stuff. Right now you're looking to get into Rainmaker Manta Maria. What are your feelings on Manta Maria in general?
Manta Maria in general. It's just fun. I think it's a very well designed map. It has a lot of good cover, a lot of good routes that you can go for both Rainmaker, Clan Blitz, as well as for zones. A lot of opportunity to get back into the zone. You're not really confined to one or two areas. There's like 4 different routes you can get into. So it has a lot of opportunity that you're not as easily locked out in many of the modes.
Okay. I can definitely agree with that. Personally, I feel that like for long range, it's very good for being offensive when you have the long range, but it can be a bit difficult because either you're kind of like confined to being on those grates when you're trying to defend a push in Rainmaker and you have nothing to ink, hide in ink and swim around and get out of the way with and stuff like that. But other than that, I agree that Manta Maria is definitely a fun map.
Yeah, it does sound like we're getting into it, but not quite in the seat just yet. We do hear a very vigorous fight.
There we go.
Dredgelords is able to get that initial pop at the beginning.
Got Dredgelords here in the yellow and Mom's Cold Spaghetti. I'm just going to call them Spaghetti. Here in the blue ink. Looks like Dredgelords are off already to a very strong start.
This is going to be a very commanding lead. They do have 2 forces that to get through, but they can still kind of slide it in for those few extra points. Getting down to really the 20 mark makes this a very devastating push for the most part, because it's once you down to 20, it's pretty easy to defend against. Once below that, it's really hard.
It can definitely be hard to get that drop down because you have to, even though right in this game, the distance you move in the air is also counted as part of the Rainmaker points, but still trying to make sure you land or else the Rainmaker is going to land on the last place that you touch is still difficult. Like we can see there, even though he got some of the points in the air, the Rainmaker is still stuck on that bit right there. Case in point, Dredgelords just making sure they do not get that drop down, because once they do get that drop down, then Mom's Cold Spaghetti is going to have the high ground and be able to just keep raining ink down onto the Rainmaker and keep pushing Dredgelords back into their spawn.
Well, we do see Spaghetti getting in a pretty strong position. They do reset the Rainmaker, however, so it's going to stop that push in its tracks and allow both teams to really go back and fight for that neutral save again. However, Cold Spaghetti has a lot more control, especially in that mid area, so they're going to quickly be able to pick up that Rainmaker and start pushing right back on its heels.
Definitely think we just, for Mom's Cold Spaghetti to get a really strong push going, they need to utilize more of their specials together. Right here we see Dredgelords using a Bomb Rush, they're using Stingray, they had a Inkjet earlier I believe, just making you think, throwing everything in the kitchen sink at them to get them out of their spawn so that they can get Dredgelords pushed back, and oh sorry, they're Dredgelords, getting Mom's Cold Spaghetti pushed back and so that they can get reclaimed mid.
Yeah, what I really would like to see before Spider moves us any further with this Rainmaker is for a lot more coverage coming out, especially in this mid area, making sure that way even if this push does not succeed, they can recover quickly on top of it.
Right now it just seems like they're just kind of holding it in mid, like you said. They're in a good position, especially with the lead like they have. They don't really have to do much. They're not in a place where they have to keep making that push. Of course, having a stronger lead isn't going to hurt any. But they're definitely in a place where they don't have to rush. They're not trying to build all their specials and get things done.
For sure. As is often stated, there is no safe push until it's actually knocked out. You can have a good push, you can have something that's easy to sit on and defend, but until it's actually in that volcano, you can't count the chickens yet.
Looks like Spider is unfortunately going to explode. But it looks like, honestly, Dredgelords are taking this opportunity to just come in with a bomb rush and keep pushing this Rainmaker and run. 2 going down, only 2 left on the Mom's Cold Spaghetti.
With Dredgelords stand a very good chance here. They do have slight numbers advantage. If they're able to get 1, maybe 2 more spots down, they can easily take this Rainmaker and run it home.
Right now, it's like the Dredgelords are just keeping that high ground. They're not even really trying to get down and actively get at the Rainmaker. They're just holding it there because they know that if they keep it there, then Mom's Cold Spaghetti really can't do anything about it.
Yep, and even though the Rainmaker is relatively set, they're not in any position or any real hurry necessarily. They're working through that time, getting it down to this final minute that we have here.
Heavy jumping back out to safety. Right now, the map is kind of even regarding Ink, although the Mom's Cold Spaghetti is slowly reclaiming mid, getting their specials so that they can try again at this, making this push with 1 minute left.
I definitely like the placing on a Mom's Cold Spaghetti here, taking that time to really ink up before making a push.
Yeah, there's no harm, like while the rush, they do need to rush, there's no problem in still trying to get it slowly pushed so that you have time to get what you need to do and you're not, everyone's dying and then you're kind of back to square one.
We do see that hard stop coming out on the side of Dredgelords, so they're able to get back in and hold that lead, try and reclaim that middle of the map and bring it back to that state once again.
30 seconds left on the clock. Right now, they have to take pretty much everyone on Dredgelords out if they really want to make a strong push and then take them out again so that they can keep that push going. It looks right though that Dredgelord is just content to keep the Rainmaker and they don't have to pick it up because if one of them manages to die, that's going to immediately send it into overtime, giving Mom's Cold Spaghetti another chance.
And just like that, game 1 goes to Dredgelords.
Well, we saw some really strong play. They seem to, like, you know, in typical Rainmaker fashion, get about at least 3 down and get that cheeky first, you know, strong push, give it to the person with their own swim speed and just go. Not even worry about trying to kill people while you're going. Just go, get as many points as you can, and hold.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we do have Inkblot Art Academy on zones.
I think this particular map has favored a little too strongly with the way the meta has been going. A lot more jets, a lot more rapids. We're seeing a lot of long-range abuse coming out on this particular map and mode, which once you get the initial cap, if you're able to move up a little bit with that long range, you can do devastating things to the defense. You can make it almost impossible, almost a full walkout with 1 or 2 weapons in many cases.
Yeah, the thing with like this very, I don't want to say heavy rapid meta, I didn't think the heavy, but just the amount of use the rapid is getting in this meta along with the jet is just like, how do you approach it when, you know, you're trying to get at it and in the first shot, you know, you get directed and then the second one you die, or you get the 3 shots and you're trying to approach and the jet cleans you up. It's like on here, it's just really strong, and I wonder if we're going to see it out of these 2 teams here.
Well, from what I've heard, and talking with a few others who've been watching a lot of the Japanese Splatoon League, is the answer is chargers. It's E-leaders, it's splat chargers. They just simply kill faster at longer range. So having that same kind of presence as the answer in those kinds of situations of seeing that long range, multiple hit abuse.
Yeah, and as we say that, a charger comes out. A charger, even though that the other team, the Mom's Cold Spaghetti, is using heavy here, a charger still, like you said, will kill faster as long as, you know, they don't get those 4 shots. They're about the equal range, but that 1 shot's going to come out a lot faster than the 4 shots of the heavy. And so this could definitely go in Dredgelord's favor really quickly. Yeah,
it's really coming down to the kind of matchup of one's focusing more on kills, the other one's focusing more on team. Flatling is going to have that advantage more often if both of them are able to get in position.
Definitely. If you have that charger, you're going to have to definitely be getting those kills because there's not any way you're going to outpaint a heavy, especially when the heavy is a heavy deco and they have those levels that can catch the zone and also zone out people very easily.
And another great position if they're able to get into this middle position is utilizing that wall on the top platform will also give them that added defense when sitting there.
surprised at the choice here, honestly, from on the side of Dredgelords, that they're not using the Fire Fin. Because Bomb Rush can be really good here on Fire Fin too, even though it's the Suction Rush and the bombs don't slide around like you see with like the Rapid when there's Flat Bomb Rush. But I still find it interesting, but I'm supposing they're using the Stingray to just add a ton of even more long-range pressure against the other team.
Yeah, for sure. We do see the zone go back to that state after a very commanding lead from Dredgelords, but recap yet again for Dredgelords' favor.
Oh, unfortunate. Right now, the Momschool Spaghetti has to pop these bubbles right now if they want to have any hope, but unfortunately just not able to pop them fast enough. A fast and decisive victory from Dredgelords.
Yep, taking it to a quick 2-0 over Cold Spaghetti as we move into, let's see, what is our third set? We have Tower Control and Triggerfish.
A classic.
Another
Classics.
absolute classic from Splatoon 1. So, tell me your thoughts on, I guess, Camp Triggerfish as a whole in its resurgence here in Splatoon 2.
I personally can't say for sure I prefer it over the Splatoon 1 version, because the Splatoon 1 version, for what weapons were had and what we had to work with, it was fun in its own way. But I definitely think in Splatoon 2, with the more options that you have to get in, like in TC, there's a connecting bridge just by the goal, or rather not the goal, but one of the checkpoints that you have to slide over to the other side and stop the push. Or you can just, take the ink rail over instead of having to go all the way around. Like, I think that's what makes this version of it really enjoyable, is that you're not committed to like, okay, I either have to go all the way around to the right, or then by the time I get there, they've gotten like 10 more points, or I have to try and fight the, long range option that's keeping our street protected.
Yeah, I completely agree. With the added zip lines as well as the platforms added in for all the checkpoints, it's a lot easier to have a response against a push. Whereas Splatoon 1, it was all over open water. You had to be in the right position, and if you weren't, you were kind of just out of luck.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of Nintendo's better redesigns of Splatoon 1 maps. I know that Piranha Pit has undergone a lot of changes, especially their version of Rainmaker. But here the changes are like just little things here and there that, a long time player of Splatoon 1 would instantly notice, but isn't so jarring that, it feels like a completely different map entirely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely think we're going to see a lot of long range here. Actually, never can. I take it back.
It's good having a nice mix of that long to mid-range. I'm actually really surprised to not see any rapid blasters, because those devastating things with a lot of accident rates as well as the long range that they have.
For certain. So even the Rapid Pro, like both Rapids and both of the regular Rapids and the Rapid Pro are very strong here. Long range, even though that's one thing that hasn't changed, is that long range is very strong on Camp Triggerfish.
We do see Dredgelords getting that first initial push, going to hit that first checkpoint here in just a moment.
Right now, it doesn't look like anyone's on the tower. It looks like, though, it seems that Mom's Cold Spaghetti is getting a bit more of a handle on keeping things down here. It looks like they're actually using the short range to their advantage. Even though long range could have a very strong hold, the short range could really be good at mowing them down if they let them get too close, which I think is what we're seeing on the side of Mom's Cold Spaghetti here.
Yeah, it has a lot of those tight corners and little nooks and crannies to hide in, has a short range player to get into position for those long range players. They typically will stay high up on the walls. You kind of know where they're going to be hiding at for the most part.
I find it interesting the use of these this 52 kind of doing like a short range recon of sorts, especially for these Stingrays, making it like impossible for like, even though Mom's Cold Spaghetti is getting the kills, the 52 point sensors them, they get found out by like all of the long range options they can't move forward.
Unfortunate surprise baller there on the side of Mozzie.
Looks like Dredgelord is going to stay on this tower, but the Stingray is going to keep them off, and unfortunately it doesn't seem like anyone from Dredgelord is near enough the tower to at least keep it going. Actually, no, they are gutting back on their turn, slowly moving toward the second checkpoint.
Yep, and if they clear the second checkpoint, it becomes very difficult for the opposing team to really make a push afterwards, because it has a lot more of that. The same kind of situation that we saw in the previous Tower Control match of being right next to the spawn location. So it's a lot easier to get in, and once you're there, hard to get past it. It's hard for you as the opposing team to make the same kind of push.
Right now, it's like they had 3 down on the side of Dredgelords for a minute, and we're seeing Mom's Cold Spaghetti slowly, honestly, moving toward that second touch point, making the smart decision of having the umbrella ride the tower and just able to shield anyone trying to come at it. It doesn't seem like Dredgelords is able to get their blaster near that tower so that they can keep the umbrella off of it.
Yep, definitely having that second push as well a lot of good pushes without necessarily taking the same kind of hit you see like a Dredgelord being dissipated off the tower, which on a map where there's so much water is difficult.
Yes. Right now, it seems like if they could just keep these 2 off of them, they might be able to get back on the tower. Only left is the Stingray now. All that someone from Dredgelord has to do is get on the tower and just keep someone in the face of the blaster and the the Stingray, and keep them away from the tower.
I do like the position for the Spider being able to just pressure on the tower with their blaster here.
Unfortunately, it just seemed like Spider is unfortunately out here on his own and goes down, leaving the Heavy to get on the tower. And that way, the long-range option on the tower, they're able to at least keep people at bay while they're trying to get on the tower, while the short-range option try to rush down everyone else in their main. Unfortunately, taking a dip and unable to continue this push. Right now, it's just Dredgelord is just keeping a lot of pressure up. They're not using that long range to their advantage. Like we said, if you have that long range, you can't. It's just hard to get close.
Yeah, you essentially have to keep sneaking around, and it's not good whenever they know where you are, which has been a very fun moment. But the ball is being shot down by Falcon here.
The Splatling currently is just holding and doesn't really seem to have anyone to like pair up with. You know, using one good thing that works well on Camp Triggerfish is having your long range and a short range option pairing up together, because they can't fight both of you at the same time. Right. So while you're trying to run from the pressure of that long range, you're having your short range move in, and I don't think we're really seeing that on the side of Mom's Cold Spaghetti, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would really like to see those pairing up that Splatling and doing that kind of competition we have, making sure that the Splatling is painting the feet of the Dapper, ensuring that the dualies end up getting a lot of more offensive mobility.
If we could get Mom's Cold Spaghetti to get their specials together and take out these long-range options, they could definitely get something moving. Using the Stingray, or at least having, if they're going to use the Stingray, to have someone move in on it while the Stingray is going, to have that, you know, distraction tactic that we were talking about before. They could definitely get something moving.
Just like that, Dredgelords take it 3-0 over Mom's Cold Spaghetti.
Unfortunate strut out for Mom's Cold Spaghetti. Should have reheated it.
The penalties of not quite having warm spaghetti.